and I think they found me. They've been banging at the doors for hours. Apparently my opinion on a certain topic doesn't agree with the rest of society. Look at them. They're all blind. They don't understand the torture. And I don't want you to suffer the same blindness. I need you to understand why I'd be pissed off about Google's new font. Maybe they won't know the wiser if I explain it through the context of a scary story. Good thing today's not Halloween day. I can do this so easily. Alright, let me introduce you to one of the scariest stories known to man. I lost the cover for the book. Modernization. The act or state of something being modern. Damn it, I shit my pants already. Modernization. I'm sure many or all of you haven't heard this term in this context before. However, I'm sure all of you know already that we're in the modern era. There's no escaping it. It's time for microtransactions, AI, and porn jokes to be all we care about. I'm not trying to tell you this story to get us to leave the modern era, because that's physically impossible. The modern era is the current era. Technically, we were in the modern era back in the age of the caveman. I'm sorry, scientific visionaries, but we're never going to be in the futuristic era. By the time we get there, it's going to be the modern era, and the era after that will be the futuristic era. What I'm trying to focus on here is actually the stage and uses of modernness itself. Now, before you call it a psych word, hear me out. Modernization is actually a tool that people can use one way or another, and recently, no one is using it correctly at all. A good example of something being modernized is brand logos. By 2013, having a logo that wasn't completely flat and boring was lame. No, bitch, that's what your dumb brain is telling you to think. Most of the new logos aren't even interesting and have no character. Anyone can make 4 squares their logo, Microsoft. And while some of these logos can look perfectly fine or even really sleek, most of them look incredibly boring, and sometimes I'll even forget what company the logo goes to. In some rare cases, making a change to a logo like this is very needed. What the f*** was going on with Google in its early days? Okay, that's better. Okay, now that's too much. Pretty scary stuff, right? And I'm just now realizing how much this chapter takes up in the book. I might have to reschedule my colonoscopy. Wait, I think the mob stopped. Maybe they're finally listening to me. Why do all companies have to use black and white nowadays? Alright, let's take a step back. I need to order the chapters of this story correctly if I want to prevent you from slipping into a coma. The idea of modernizing things can originate from the term out with the old and in with the new. Oh, you're still using water like a caveman? Nah, irradiated water is where it's at now. You don't want to be remembered as the outdated guy who has no place in society, so it's always a good thing to upgrade to fit in with the time. Now, before you get all antsy with me and say, that's what modernization is, you big dummy, why are you complaining? I'm about to blow your mind. Brace yourself, you might want to sit down for this one. That's not modernization. That's evolution. Evolution, in this case, is a section of modernization. One of several. There are multiple factors of modernization, and each contribute one way or another. But some things add downsides as well. This first section I already mentioned is evolution. This is the best part of modernization, as this section helps improve on what came before it, making it easier to use, more powerful in terms of hardware, and just making it better for new and returning audiences. This also segues into the second section, practicality. Modernization is supposed to make things more retarded. It says retarded. Practicality only works to a degree before it starts to become very intrusive. Sometimes something less practical can add charm. If you get too practical, it becomes a blank wall of text with no colors, no emotion. That's one of the most troubling parts of modernization. If used too much, it makes everything blank and depressing. There we go. We're finally getting to them. Never mind. Looks like they brought the artillery. This next factor of modernization is trendment, or as the kids say, out with the old and in with the new, or as I say, out with the existing, in with the shit. Modernizing your product helps to prevent it from being outdated. This can vary from multiple factors within this factor. For instance, trendment can merge into practicality, which can make things more consumer-friendly for new customers and sometimes returning customers alike. I think that last aspect was completely forgotten about by Xbox. We've come a long way from being able to use creative menus for our consoles. Heck, even something like the 360's NXE is impossible now. And if Xbox does bring it back, they're gonna slap Doritos ads everywhere. But I've stalled long enough. Time to enter the worst chapter of this story. The year of 2013. Damn, they're all dead. Told you this year is scary. Draft. Yeah, 2013 was definitely the worst in the modern era. Makes sense, considering it was the first. 2013 was a year where all companies had an epiphany in the shower and said, let's fire up this modernization up on all cylinders. And that's all she wrote. Good gravy, this was a terrible idea in execution. Shooting off all of this modern immediately was not the smartest choice. Increasing modernness needs to happen gradually. If you launch at full speed, you get something like... And you can definitely tell companies were preparing for this too, especially Xbox. The Xbox 360 was phenomenal. The original console looked so sleek and appealed to both hardcore gamers and casuals, an appealing you couldn't get with a Space Grill. And the 360 Slim just straight up looked awesome. It's literally an X. Now that is how you make a console. Now this is how you make... I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not an X. This model was made to make the 360 look more like the Xbox One. Why? And that wasn't even the worst part. 2 years prior, we got a sign of the dark times. The day that will live in infamy as one of the days to be hated. The day Microsoft said, hey, ads are in now, motherfuckers. This is disgusting. So picture this. A brand new competitor in the console industry hits it out of the park with their first console. I mean, as well as they could while being in the same room as this guy. Then their next console, the Xbox 360, is a smash hit once again. Mainly because no one wanted to spend $600 on a space heater while the console wasn't the most intact, i.e. it explodes. It has some great initial games with an absolutely amazing dashboard. Now this is happiness. And it got even better with the NXE dashboard. Whether or not it's better or worse than the Blades, it's really up to preference. But the NXE is a staple in nostalgia, and even in modernizing Xbox's UI. This is definitely what everyone thinks of when they hear the words Xbox 360. Now, with that picture in your head, there are some problems. As I said, the console likes to explode, and Microsoft suddenly had a strong desire to copy/rip off Nintendo's Wii. 2010 rolled around, and Xbox decided to rebrand themselves in the name of Wii, 360. Yes, we're talking about the Kinect. And honestly, I think it gets a bad rap. There are some games for the peripheral worth sinking your afternoon into, albeit most of them were rip-offs of Nintendo's. But come on guys, it had bowling, and you could beat up your friends while dressed up as a pizza. And with the Kinect came a new console facelift that fixed every issue with the original, as well as give it a sleek new shape that allowed for 5 USB ports. Damn, that's a lot. Wait, what's that one? Oh yeah, this guy. With the rebranding as well as the Kinect came a new startup screen, and while this is as iconic as it gets for 2000s gaming, the original was just better. And alongside the new startup, we get an updated dashboard, called the Kinect dashboard. Fitting title. Basically just a tweaked NXE dashboard with a more modern fashion, aka flat icons and text that are way too close together. There is some charm here, however, with the avatars assisted with the setup along with their own avatar music, as well as a vibrant enough background. It does focus heavily on Kinect usage, which makes sense considering that this was when the Kinect released. I mean, this was the entire reason for the dashboard's creation. And that should have been it, but Microsoft just wasn't cashing in enough. Now most people would look at this and say, what's the damn problem? While you might be in contempt, and yeah, this still functions, this is not okay. This was created for only 2 reasons. 1, to make the UI match up with Windows' new design, which, cough cough, flopped hard by the way. Don't even get me started on Windows 8, man. And secondly, it was made to allow Microsoft to get a nickel for every showcase of Rise of the Planet of the Apes. 99% of the UI is taken up by ads. Why? What do you gain from this? Are you really that short of money? Or did Electronic Arts rub off on you? This does nothing but piss off those who actually turn back on their brain and notice that this is a ripoff compared to what we once had. Okay, maybe Microsoft's intentions for this weren't as bad as I'm making them out to be. Maybe there was actually good intentions behind this, right? If you're having a hard time determining which parts are actually in the book or just me stating thoughts, me too. Now this dashboard came into fruition purely because of Windows 8, which released in the same time frame. Otherwise, the Kinect dashboard would have lasted much longer than it did. and Microsoft was entirely convinced that their new UI template was going to take off, so much so that they implemented it into Xbox. Microsoft really wanted this form factor to be used, and I think halfway through they ended up realizing that these ads were needed for this to work. I mean, in the original version, each tab only had 2 options to select from. Remove all the ads and there's practically nothing. Now at this point, I would say that this is obviously a dumb idea. Don't go forth with it. But Microsoft just wanted those giant flat squares and saw this as an opportunity to also include as many garbage features that they could think of. Zune Marketplace, a Bing tab, and alongside all the meaningless Connect features and functionalities in tow. Don't even get me started on Connect. I could go on about all the backfires this did to the 360, but I've barely used it enough, so I'm not even gonna bother. This is bad. This is bland. It literally uses the same menus as the Connect. All they did was change the homepage and got rid of any charm that made the 360 worth turning on. And that charm was required because there weren't even any good games coming out for the system anymore. Gears of War had run out of steam, the Fable series came crashing down, the absolute fun that were Xbox Live Arcade titles were null and void and practically abandoned. Keep in mind, that was 30% of Xbox's image at the time, and rather than have great Halo games, we were stuck with Halo Wannabe and Falling Halo. The UI did get better with time, but when I say better, I really mean tolerable. There's still ads, and I'd argue that the Metro UIs are functionally worse than what came before it. I'm having a migraine already, and this is only the precursor. Wait, that's only part of it. Oh yeah, the Wii U. We can't forget about Nintendo now, can we? Nintendo at this point was known as the guy who kept f***ing up opportunities for the new consoles, yada yada yada. You already know this story. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip this part so I don't get depressed over Nintendo's entire existence for the last 30 years. Anything could be terrible when you expect it, you know. The Wii was a major success for Nintendo, the first time in a while. But success and popularity didn't last. The console was a generation behind, no HDMI, which annoyed every gamer. Personally, I always forget that the 360 and PS3 had HDMIs. I forgot the 7th Gen had HDMI in general, so I don't care. And the Wii's focus on the casual market did not hold their heads above water for so long. At launch, the Wii was impossible to get. It was so popular. But by 2010, they got showed up by the rectangle in your pocket that plays Subway Surfers. And by 2011, the Wii suffered a major software drought. Why? Because Nintendo was busy with developing the Wii's successor, a question mark. The Wii U is just a big mess. I don't even think Nintendo fully knew what they were doing. They definitely wanted to bring back the hardcore audience with this new system, but experience with the Wii made them think they had to introduce a gimmick to stay relevant. The result was an HDMI Wii revolving around a Elite Pad on steroids. Nintendo crammed so much technology into the Wii U's gamepad and yet completely ignored the 2 most important aspects. No multi-touch on the screen, and the battery life is atrocious. And this console released in 2012, which was during a time when Nintendo had bland writing and no ideas. This is some of the most bland and uninteresting games I've ever seen, and despite the giant hot mess the Wii U is, it's still better than this horrible block. Okay, and I thought the Xbox 360 had fallen from grace. No, turns out it was the whole company. We lost Windows 7 for the irritating 8, the 360 was now depressing, and what do you know, the 8th gen is about to bring us the biggest piece of shit. The initial reveal of the next Xbox console was no doubt the worst thing the gaming community has seen in years, and we had a Wii U release a year prior. Microsoft became absolutely oblivious at this point. They looked at the PS3's original mission statement, which keep in mind caused this, and applied that to the 360. Keep in mind, that caused this. And then they proceeded to take everything bad about their consoles and computers at this time and made a console out of it. Ooh, and they added a bunch more shitty features. Internet required, no backwards compatibility, inability to trade and use games. Okay, you can do this. It's just a console. I'll be fine. What the f*** is this thing? On top of that, they got rid of the genius designs of the 360s, and instead gave us the most hideous and unappealing block. This makes the Sega Saturn look like an exploit prom date. Okay, the Saturn is misunderstood, okay? And the console cost $100 more than the PS4, and had a confusing name to boot, Xbox One. Okay, at least they had a reason for this name. It symbolizes all-in-one entertainment. So honestly, the name doesn't bother me too much. Same with the Wii U. At least these two had reasons for their names and roll off the tongue well enough. Now remember this. Remember this. Confusing name aside, this console still appeals to no one. They were trying to reel in the casual crowd and yet gave them the most convoluted and confusing machine ever.
Hey y'all, Scott here.
Sorry about that. That was my face editor. It does that sometimes. It's just so confusing to operate. And I don't understand why. The advertisement said casual is welcome.
It's just, I can't understand Microsoft's planning behind this, expecting the general audience to be able to navigate and use this clustered mess. Focusing on anything but games here, TV functionality, this split feature that barely works, all in a box that honestly barely functioned either. The UI would sometimes never boot up, it was slow as hell, you needed an entire brick a fourth the size of the console just to power the damn thing. These crappy touch-sensitive buttons that can put to shame by the 360 Slim, a disk drive that is lazy and refuses to do its job sometimes, a USB port and a sync button on the side that makes no sense to be here, considering this console was designed to be shoved into the back of a shelf. I didn't even bring up the Connect being required.
You know what? I'm done. I can't sit through this anymore. I could talk so much more shit on the Xbox One. That console is such a piece of crap and ended the good days on Microsoft. I'd argue they've never been able to make a good product ever since. This book has so much more to talk about, and it doesn't even scratch the surface of all the bullcrap that's been happening recently. In fact, I don't even think I've gotten to my point yet. This topic makes me so mad I just ramble off at the first second. I don't know how much of this book I've actually been reading off of. I can honestly keep going on. There's so much more to talk about. Xbox, television, companies in general, Windows. I barely scratched the surface there. There's so much more to tackle. And I've mainly talked about style. I could talk about functionality. That would definitely prove my point better. Like the fact that computers nowadays focus so much on security, and yet are easier and easier to hack. What sense does that make? I can't understand this. Who thought full modernization was a good idea? Will you stop already? I can't think straight. Quit your momming, you angry mom! I can't think straight. I need to sit down, clear my head.
Several hours later, and the angry mob continues to grow with each passing hour. The local store said if this sound doesn't die down, they're going to unalphabetize.
Jeez, they've really run out of things to talk about, haven't they?
This can't keep going on. In other news, the increase of bacon grease in medicine bottles continues to increase.
You have 3 seconds to answer the phone call you're receiving or we bomb the place. Go! Do you really think you can continue doing this?
Doing what? Could you quit hacking my TV now the bowling game is on?
You can't continue to talk crap on modernization. Your insistent complaining does nothing but piss off people who are already pissed off at you.
I don't care. People need to see the bullcrap that we deal with every day. Everything has to be so bland now. Every corporation has to be so scummy. And you want us to be just okay with that?
Enough with your arbitrary statements and snide insinuations. Your opinions are worthless. Why won't you just admit that you're wrong?
No, admit it. I'm not wrong. We are stuck in an era where everything must be bland and boring and honestly barely functions.
Shut it! I am tired of your naive nature and idiocy. If you don't admit where you're wrong now, I will...
You see, this is what happens when you display our passwords on live television.
I told you that wasn't me, and it was a worldwide hack!
This happens every other Wednesday.
It's not even Wednesday! Get a calendar! And you were the one who left those papers there! I was blindly following your orders, you Tranko-sounding weasel!
I've got better things to do than listen to your excuse, you pathetic little piece of...
I'm sorry. I can't just sit here and bluntly accept what we are given. I'm not saying new technology is bad, it's technically been the same for years. It's just presented in a crappy way now.
One for one, the repo man found out about my...
You know what? I'm accomplishing nothing by sitting here talking to you.
Alright guys,
I shouldn't need a non-Halloween day just to get my point across.
You do realize that holiday was canceled 67 years ago, right?
I shouldn't need to pretend like it's October. I don't need to have this stupid book to make a point. And I don't need to talk to you. Goodbye, Mr. Scummy Mc...
Don't you dare, you insufferable little... I'm still here, you know. You can't escape. If an entire mob can find you, I will. Once I'm
Sounds like fun. Good luck with that.
Oh.
Everyone stop your mobbing right now! Or I won't be afraid to shoot every last one of you! Look guys, we can't descend to anarchy because one guy can't tolerate mobile games and their frustrating ads. In fact, there's so much more to modernization. The incompetence, the laziness, the fact that we can't make a good movie anymore, and when we do, it's a stroke of luck. The fact that us as people barely do things ourselves anymore is just baffling to me. We have to use AI to come up with our every thoughts, and we eat way too much DoorDash. People today want to take a stand and speak up for what they believe. Well, I'm taking a stand today. It's funny how most people want to do that nowadays, and yet more people sit under big cabooses and do nothing. We never do anything. We never speak up. And whenever someone does, it's for something stupid. Oh, there's no hot label on the coffee. Well, use your common sense, lady. It's coffee. We don't have to live like this, you guys. I mean, you guys all unified to come kill me, so... We could do this. We could stand up, take a stand, and we don't have to accept this. Who's with me? He doesn't like scummy mobile games. Kill. Nice, I got a lack of integrity. What happened? We all look the same. I look like a whiny bitch. Guys, this might be a bad time to tell you that I'm glitching. Hey, there he is. He's the guy who don't like shady profit investments. Nice, I got a gun. Thank you. You idiot! Everyone looks the same. Which one do I shoot? That one. Federico! You just got jumped. Wait. No. You look like a scumbag. I never liked your face. Stop right there! Don't let me shoot you! Wait a second. I know you. Stanley P. Fillion. How do you know that? Yeah. You're the guy who likes Mario Party 3. Oh my goodness. You remember? Listen, you don't have to follow this mob. You can join with me to fight against them. You know I'm right. You know that we shouldn't be blindly following modernization. You're right. I shouldn't be following these madmen.
What do I do?
Join with me. Just think of everyone else here as Mario Party taters.
Yes, I won't fail you. Quickly, get out of here! I will defend you! Come on. Stanley? What's going on here? Just follow my lead, Jimmy. Kill everyone else. Run! Enjoy games, you sons of bitches! Not so fast, Mr. Scumbag. Take some! Take some! Jimmy!
We got traitors in the mob.
Oh, just enjoy old games, you dickhead. Bastard! Go! Get out of here!
This is just great. I thought I could reason with them, but now everything's gone to crap. Everyone's confused and are trying to kill each other. I just hope Stanley made it out of this mess. It's only a matter of time before they find me. Well, I'm stuck here, and my opinions are gonna end up getting me killed. And I don't understand why. There is so much to hate about modernization. It's been slowly transforming everything into bland, money-making messes. And with everything switching to digital, we no longer get to experience the memories we once had. Rather than value being shown right in front of us, we have to go out of our way to find value in.
And with only digital media, preserving what we enjoy is going to become impossible. The fact that what we purchase or download isn't our property, it can now be taken away from us at any moment, is going to make holding on to games, media, our memories and experiences more challenging than back in the 90s. And the fact that we are given no alternatives and are forced to accept it, we have to adapt.
And maybe it's time for me to adapt. I'm stuck in this situation. I might as well try to find some joy in modernization. I have to.
Well, just because Xbox fell off doesn't mean the rest did. PlayStation actually learned their lesson from their previous console and sought to fix every mistake they made when making their next console, the PlayStation 4. They took every complaint people have with the Xbox One and showed how that wouldn't be an issue on PlayStation, all while giving us a sleek, cheaper console with the most fantastic and welcoming interface to boot, with the music just being the cherry on top.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe there is some joy to be found in modernization. We may have lost Microsoft to greed and obliviousness, but that doesn't mean the rest have been lost. However, we did lose all of our credibility of marketing corporations, and who could forget? Great! They found me, and they're sending bombs out. And I've barred myself inside. It would take forever to remove that structure. Oh, great. What am I supposed to do? It's not like there's a back door in here. That is so stupid. It might work.
Ow! Mother... That was the most convoluted escape I've ever done. Well, I accomplished nothing. I didn't even encounter the guy who threatened my life. But I have grown a small appreciation for modernization. Don't get me wrong, I still think we're going too far into the rabbit hole. But that doesn't mean it's all bad. There's still some great memories from it. And more to come. Oh man, it took my Wii U. Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to watch TV like a normal person. What the? Oh yeah, I almost forgot.
Oh, what the?
Hey,
Back to normal.
you tried to kill me.
Like Madden 05?
Well, the fighting's not gonna stop anytime soon.